Good morning. Great to have you here with us at Unity of Walnut Creek. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to journey into that road to peace, that touching that deep, beautiful inner peace of the self. We have marvelous music. And along this way, I invite you to join us also in touching that deep, beautiful stillness, that presence of divine love that is magnificently within you. Thank you. Bless you.
Welcome to Walnut Creek Unity. Please stand as you are able and join us in singing. A joyful beginning. Now the joy, 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 joy down in my heart, down in my heart. I have the joy, 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 joy down in my heart, down in my heart today. I have the peace that passes understanding down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I have the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. down in my heart today. Oh, I'm so happy, so very happy. I feel the love of the Spirit in my heart. Yes, I'm so happy, so very happy. I feel the love of the Spirit in my heart. I have the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I have the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart today.
This next song is, I think it's a little bit new to us. It's a really, really simple and beautiful lyric and tune. I am a radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. When I look in your face, I see the light of God guiding you on your way. So you'll find the chorus is really fun and easy, and they're good at teaching you this song.
Ready for a wonderful hello, darling. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you all here today. My name is Linda Stevens, and it is my joy and my honor to be a part of your service this morning. If you've got anything that buzzes or rings or does anything, would you turn it off now? Just check it and make sure that it's turned completely off so that it doesn't interfere with our folks at home. And speaking of our folks at home, let's wave and tell our friends at home good morning. Have you guys ever tried to watch it from your computer at home if you couldn't be here? It is so cool because you really do feel like you're here. So if you can't make it some Sunday morning, I encourage you to do that. Today, our very special singers are Dawn and Steve. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And our guest musician this morning is Miss Carol Manson. And she does have CDs out on the patio after service. Now let's open our service with our intention. And through our opening affirmation, bring our hearts into alignment with Spirit. Please join me prayerfully and powerfully speaking our affirmation together 3 times. Together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Now sink into your hearts just a little bit more. Together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And now one more time. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Now let's continue our centering by reading our statement of unity together. God's love is within each of us, guiding us to dynamically express our wholeness, wisdom, and abundance. We acknowledge the universal wisdom in all seasons and in all spiritual paths. I now choose to open to the presence of divine love and to be changed at depth. Throughout this sacred time, God is uplifting me and through my heart, the world. And now David McKibben will read our daily word.
Today's daily word is circulation. A full jug cannot accommodate more. Similarly, if I cling to what I have now without creating the capacity for anything new, I restrict the flow of fresh blessings pouring into my life. The spiritual laws of circulation and compensation tell me that freely sharing my gifts does not deplete my resources. I am willing to both give and receive. I joyously share my time, talent, and treasure in varied and imaginative ways. I might offer a helping hand, volunteer my time, share an idea, a smile, or a hug, or donate money or a gently used possession. With a consciousness of prosperity, I have more than enough to share. As I give, I expand my capacity to receive. From Genesis 33:11, please accept my gift that is brought to you, because I have everything that I want. And the affirmation for today: I circulate the currency of good, and my capacity to receive expands. Would you join me? I circulate the currency of good, and my capacity to receive expands.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and we say, Amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. we rest in God and we say, Amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and we say,
Thank you, Carol. That was beautiful. Okay. Now, I'm going to highlight a few things that are coming up for our community. You can find the rest of these in either your bulletin or on our website. Today at 2 to 4, we have a very special event by Janet Carol Ryan. Janet, would you like to stand up? Now, Janet is going to be doing a very special heart centering using the Tibetan bowls and the beautiful crystal singing bowls, and then doing a heart alignment. So I've experienced the Tibetan bowls before, and they are so, so powerful. So I encourage you, if you're available today, to make that part of your afternoon. And have you guys heard that we're having a crab feed again? Yay! Woo! How many of you have been to our crab feed in the past? A lot of you. Well, I didn't see a few hands raised. So now this is going to be your turn to come this year. Leslie's going to be out on the patio selling tickets, and I'm going to be out there looking for folks to either do a play date or a raffle basket or a dessert to raffle off. So please come and sign up to participate and buy your ticket ahead of time and come and play with us on February the 23rd. Now, if you're here for the very first time, we would like to acknowledge you. We'd like to meet you, and we invite you to experience our community as a guest at one of our Unity events. Please take the VIP card that stands for "in very important presence," because your presence is important to us. Take it to the patio, and you can talk to them about receiving a gift of an event from us. Now, if you're willing to raise your hand and let us know that you're here, we would like to send you a blessing. Anybody here for the first time? Oh, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so you don't have to stand up. All you have to do is open your heart as wide as is comfortable and accept a blessing from us. Together, we love you and we bless you, and we hold Christ's light shining through you. Thank you for being here today. And now, if you guys want to say hello to your neighbors, it's that time again.
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it
Okay, take that deep breath. I better take a couple. Just breathe in that love, let it out, let go. Sit back and settle in, because we're headed into that time of prayer and meditation together. And as we head there, as you turn within, I invite you to join in singing these beautiful words. Let the music be part of that attuning to the very center of your heart. God, as we feel your movement through our hearts, our minds, our bodies, through our lives, our families, not moving separate from us, but in us and as us, as the blessing, as the love, as the peace present here and now. So we take this inner journey to open at depth and know you more deeply. And we let that true peace of being, that peace that we know one with you, let it call to us, draw us into that beautiful center. For we've each sat on the edge of a quiet lake at one time. And as the wind became still and the water quieted, how easy it was to touch that inner quiet, that inner peace. But as we journey to that peace, we understand that it is not the lake, nature, or anything without that calls us into that peace. For peace is what we are. We are one with your peace, one with your presence. And as we let go of all that the mind wants to focus on about and turn into that beautiful inner peace, we rest, filled with your presence, filled with your peace. It was the Master who pointed that way within as he spoke those words, peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace. Mother, Father, God, you who are our peace, you are the center from which all springs forth, the order that guides and unfolds the very highest in our lives. You who are this beautiful love that we experience upon our hearts. The one with that love, we are grateful to send it forth to heal and bless and uplift. We begin by radiating it first to our own bodies for our healing, for our strength, vitality. We send it to our minds and hearts for wisdom and understanding. We radiate this peace to each one dear to us, surrounding them in this love, lifting, healing, guiding, prospering, bringing deep peace within each heart. We radiate your love across this spiritual community, becoming a part of that light and wisdom that flows from each one, blessing everyone in their world. We unfold every prayer request brought here in this love, knowing that this divine presence is with each one, lifting them into that which is the highest. We send this love across the communities in which we live, across our nation, and the nations of the world, calling forth your peace in every heart. to all who join us in prayer, whether in mosque or synagogue, temple or church, whether gathered at home or on the hillsides, or in seeking to know you, we are all one. And we radiate this love from our hearts, sending it to Mother Earth, to all her creatures, and enfolding the earth and sending it to the heart of every single person in the earth. For you are this love in every heart, and in this love we are one. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. Please join me. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And once again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world.
I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking. I'm gonna keep on talking. I'm gonna build a brand new world. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. I'm gonna build a brand new world. Yeah, love. Hey, hey, yeah. Man, it's good over here. I ain't gonna let no fear turn me around, turn me around. Hey, turn me around. I ain't gonna let no fear turn me around. I said I'm gonna keep on walking and I'm gonna talk. Gonna build a brand new
Okay, take another breath. I spent the last week immersed in the autobiography of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And what a treat to come up here and hear those glorious words. Thank you. There's a feeling. There's a feeling when you are right with the world. Okay? It's got that beautiful piece to it. You know, it's like every part of your life. It's okay at that moment. You remember that feeling? Okay? And that beautiful, you know, there's a, and that awesome being at peace with life that it touches. Now, I'm not sure we feel that all the time. But it's part of an amazing capacity that we have. Over the last several months, I've been encouraging everyone to take and really take a look at what's our purpose? What are we here for? What's happening in us and through us? And what happens if you began to look at that experience of purpose? You realize it comes in really two forms. One is like the purpose of doing. I mean, it's what you're about, what you're expressing, what it is that you're creating. But there's another purpose. That's the purpose of being. What am I? And it's the ability to touch that feeling. It's one of those states of being that we can enter into. And for me, that is the experience of peace. That we can enter into that. I mention peace because peace has always been important in this community. When I first came here, I was touched by the beautiful peace wall that was here, and I remember sitting in the sanctuary after I'd met everybody and everything had taken place, and I was about to head out and grab a plane home. And I remember sitting there and feeling that feeling we just talked about. Everything was right. A place where I could really feel peace. And that was part of the guidance for me of knowing that I was here. And part of that was that value, that being in a state of peace was important to me. And it was also important to this community. This Saturday, everyone's invited to come and be a part of our really looking and say, what is important? What are we about? What are the, in the organizational world, you use words like mission, vision, core values. What's our purpose? What are we here for? And in that experience, part of what we call those core values are those states of being. What do we choose to be? We're going to look at it together on Saturday, and I'm sure you're going to touch it a little bit on the experience this afternoon with Janet. But in that experience, as we do it together, part of what we're learning and seeing is, how do I do this for myself? How do I learn how to be clear on what it is that I'm about? And because I've been so often touched by the real value of peace in this place and to this spiritual community, I wanted to just touch on it today. I want to acknowledge 4 beautiful teachers of peace in my life. As I was looking at them, it occurred to me, one's Jewish, one's Taoist, one's Hindu, and one's Christian. I thought, well, that's kind of interesting, you know. And but they're all teaching the same thing. So the first one, the Jewish one I want to touch, is Jesus. He was not a Christian, you know. he was a amazing Jewish teacher. and I so love and appreciate that about him. So he goes back to the consciousness of peace again and again and again. There's many places in the Gospels where it shows up, but I want to touch one. It says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." And back to, "My peace I give you." Now, for those that may be kind of new to our unity way of understanding that, the way that I would understand when Jesus said something like that is he is speaking from what in Christianity is called the Christ self, that spiritual being that each of us are, that in its potential as we move into its fullness, we are able to perceive and know our oneness with the divine and express from there. So that's where he's at in his own consciousness, and that's what he's referring to, my peace, that peace of that Christ self, which is, of course, the Atman to the Hindu and the Buddha mind to the Buddhist. And one of the most beautiful terms for it is the I am. It's that true state of being. When we touch that I am, my peace I give you, that's where we connect with it. And then when I look at that, then I've got to go over and do a little Lao Tzu. One of the most amazing teachers of peace, because as he really was able to see that flow of spiritual energy and spiritual power through life and articulate it ages ago. Lao Tzu said something like, translated many times, "Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity." Okay, so he takes us out of that, what the mind's explaining out there. Empty your mind of all thoughts. And then into the heart. Let your heart be at peace. So into the heart, and then that place where we watch from, where we see, yeah, that's what the world's doing. It's off in its thing, and yet it has to come back to the source. And as we touch that source, there is that serenity, because we touch that which is true, which is real, that pure divine presence, that pure love, which is just what Jesus said, only a little more Chinese. Now, the other marvelous teacher, and I feel as though we live in the most marvelous time that the earth has ever had. The level of spiritual teaching and awareness that we've been able to walk through is just incredible. To have someone like a Mahatma Gandhi who took these understandings, universal understandings, and was able to bring them into the practice of peace, not only the movement from that outer thing that Lao Tzu's talking about, the mind and the thoughts, into the heart, but to do so in such a way that we embody and transform the society into peace at the same time. Take us through peace not being the avoidance of our conflict and our difficulties, but rather something that we attain in the midst, that it might be transformed. And if you go to many of the books on Gandhi, so many of them talk about nonviolent resistance, which is a complete failure to understand what the man was about. He was about love. He was about the power of love to transform all that was unlike itself. So it wasn't resistance, and it wasn't nonviolent. It was active loving. And interesting enough, when Martin Luther King, who was the other great gift in terms of a teacher of peace, when he began his work in the 50s. Okay, though he was a student of Gandhi, he really began out of Jesus' teachings of love, as the way to move into the midst of the very difficult conflicts that we had in our society that we needed to embrace and resolve, and yet doing so with this deep consciousness of peace. And so, as he gave expression to what Gandhi was able to show us as a potential, but he brought it into our world, into our issues and our problems that needed to be healed, and did so through an amazing consciousness of peace. Again, peace not as withdrawal, but as a state of consciousness that you step into in the middle of what's going on. So my question always comes up, well, how do you do that? How do you get there? Because I have at times found myself in the middle of turmoil, and I can't say peace was always my first choice. So, that's really the reason I was going by and reading his book. I wanted to see what's there. What did he do? And he shares a fascinating experience. This takes place very, very early in the civil rights movement. Okay, this is the Montgomery bus boycott. Okay, that was the response to Rosa Parks being arrested for not moving back in the bus. Okay, and so he is this very young man who's been asked to lead this community in actively engaging this problem of segregation. And so he starts out, and there's a good response. There's lots of extensive support. They're really be able to make some very powerful steps and really impact the community. And what happens is that there's a point at which the anger and the violence that had been the control over the black community begins to assert itself. And so the violence begins to come down on the movement and the leaders of the movement, even though they're adhering to a very firm, nonviolent commitment within themselves. And what happens for him is he wakes up in the middle of the night. He's been going through this thing of just increasing threat, and threat against himself, threat against his family, threat against people that are working with him, and very, very angry, very pointed threats that one can't ignore. I mean, this is very real. But what he finds is he's afraid. And he doesn't know how to deal with it. And so he turns to the experience of prayer. And he says that he remembers this very distinctly as he shared it in his prayer. Lord, I'm here trying to do what's right. I think I'm right. I am here taking a stand for what I believe is right. But Lord, I must confess I'm weak now. I'm faltering. I'm losing my courage. Now I am afraid. He says, it seems as though I could hear the quiet assurance of an inner voice saying, Martin Luther, stand up for righteousness. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. And lo, I will be with you. Even unto the end of the world. So at that moment, I experienced the presence of the divine as I had never experienced him before. Almost at once, my fears began to go. My uncertainty disappeared. I was ready to face anything. He went from a state of great fear and anxiety to a place of peace and strength. He did it by prayer. He did it by, as Lao Tzu would say it, quieting the mind and focusing it on the heart. Letting go of the world and focusing it on the divine. Finding that peace that is given by this divine presence within you. And you can do it too. Now, I want to point out that the things he was afraid of were real. Okay, his house was bombed 3 days after this experience. So they're very real. So this isn't an experience of not being realistic in the world. Rather, it's an experience of in the world, as what is going down, how do you want to show up? What is that being that you are? He used prayer to get to what was of value to him. Peace. Now there's a beautiful and very simple way that I find myself going to do that prayer. And that is to use the I am. One of the identities with the Christ self, the Atman, the state of being is it's not only called the I am, but the term I am is one of the ways that we identify in that state of being. And very simply, I am peace. Join me. I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. You can reach into that presence, and make the choice to be the expression of that which is of value to you. Now the good news is you don't have to. Okay, sometimes we'd rather stay angry. It's a lot more fun to blame somebody. Okay? And there's always somebody to blame. Life is so convenient. You know, if your family is in turmoil, you can explain how and why they're in turmoil. Okay? And if they're any good at all, they can get you right in the middle of it. So you don't have to do this. But what is the purpose of your being there? Is your purpose to be part of the turmoil? Or is your purpose to be the presence of peace? It's a choice. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. We know that because we've made both choices, haven't we? They're just different. But they both create. Because when you are that peace, you are the presence of peace in that situation. If it's your family, if it's people that you work with, if it's friends that you have, if it's what your political party's doing, well, maybe not that one. But you're the presence of peace in that situation. And if you choose, you can be the presence of peace in your world. I am the presence of peace in my world. Join me. I am the presence of peace in my world. That's a choice. Again. I am the presence of peace in my world. Once again. I am the presence of peace in my world. I know that you are making that choice. Because what is happening is as we are the presence of peace in our world, we are creating a world of peace. And for that,
Thank you, David. You guys going to use that this week? I promise. Now, if you would like prayer support for either challenges or celebrations, please ask one of our heart ministers. They'll be available to you after the service here in either the sanctuary or out on the patio. And our heart ministers wear the lavender stoles. You're also invited to place a prayer request in either our prayer box out in the foyer or in the bookstore. And we'll be praying with you throughout the week. There's even a button on the computer that you can say, prayer request, and that'll get to us that way as well. Now is time for our prosperity celebration. I encourage you to take your tithes and your love offerings, and for those love in actions or credit card donations, there's for your convenience, an envelope in the back of each chair. Now I invite you to take your tithing love offerings in your hand and be aware that God is the source of all of our good. And together, let's say our prosperity blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we are grateful. Thank you.
Nothing but blue skies do I see. Skidoo-dee-do-day, bluebirds singing Never saw the sun shining so bright. Never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're all of mine, how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone bye-bye. Nothing but blue skies from now on. Oh,
All right, let's bless our children together. Children, you are loved, special, and important. God loves you, and so do we. All right. And we receive these gifts so grateful that we know that source of abundance that guides and fulfills those true desires that it has placed on all our hearts. In the joy of the infinite presence of love. Amen. Let's take hands and share together our prayer of protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our peace song. the love and the light and the peace in the earth right now. So let it shine and have fun.